Alright, welcome back. Now in this video we're going to take and make our menu or our meal items look much better inside of our view. So one of the things you'll see inside of most of these forms to make things look better are these tabs like this. And these are our notebooks, and each one of these tabs is called a page in the notebook. And we can real easily add these to our forms. In fact, it's this easy. We're just going to go right in here to our form view, and after our group, we're going to go in here and put a notebook. And just like we've talked before, if you have an opening tag, you got to have a closing tag. And then we know that we want a page in our notebook that's going to be our meal items. So we type meal name, and we can call these meal items. And we can assign a string to our notebook so it has a name, or a page, I should say, has a name. And we're going to call our page meal items. So this is where the items will get listed. And in this, we just said meal field name equals item IDs, and that doesn't give the form what it needs to really look the way you would expect it to look. So we add what's called a widget to the end of this. So we say widget equals one to many list, like that. And this is enough information, and we actually don't want to end this yet right here. This is actually enough information that tells Odoo we want to show these item IDs in a list in a special way. And we want to use a tree, and we can once again list the items. So we'll say, we'll just call this menu items. And we can also say that we want it to be editable, and we'll make it editable at the bottom if we choose. Now, here's where we get to specify exactly the order of what we want everything to be in our tree. So, for example, we know we want to have the item ID appear first, like that. And actually it will be the product ID. So it's the product ID because it's coming from the product table. And then we also want the servings and actually maybe this it should be the item ID. We'll have to see. And then we'll have our notes as well. And I can see there's something wrong with my XML here because of the way this says tree, and it's because I didn't get my ending quote here. So notice how that's one of the advantages of using Eclipse, is that we can see right here I'm missing my ending quote. So we have field here, open bracket, you can see. We have a tree here that's open that we ended here. So that means we need to end this field out. And so if you're wondering why I'm typing field here, the answer is why I'm typing field here is that this is for this whole entire items IDs. So when we're listing out our item IDs, we're going to be using a tree to do that. And then this is telling us which columns we want. We end our tree, and now here's where we end the field for our item IDs. And then we also need to end our page, like so. And we're going to go with that for now. Hit save. And we're going to restart and see if we get any errors in our XML. And we did. And I'm not really surprised, because I had kind of questioned myself already, and so I was going to let it go. And it says product ID does not exist. And so that's why I knew I was letting that one go. Maybe it would be there, maybe it wouldn't. We Control C, and this needs to be item ID, I believe. Save all. We'll see that. And there we go. And that shows right there some of the power of Odoo's framework, that this item ID actually gets derived from this item IDs, and then when we come down here, it's really pulling item ID from this. Actually, I should say we are. I wasn't thinking clearly here. It was definitely should have been item ID, because this is what it is in this model right here, and this is where it ties to the product. So that was my mistake, because this is a list of item IDs, and I didn't name this product ID. I named it item ID. So I don't typically like to go back and just redo the video, because it's important that you see those errors and learn how to fix them, and also understand, sometimes you will make mistakes. And so it's important to, when you need to second guess yourself, go back to your model and say, what is it in the model? It's item ID. I was guessing over here when I said product ID. So we got no errors now. Let's go and see what we get when we go to our meals and breakfast menu. Notice how we have our notebook now with our page. If I hit edit, I have add an item, and I can go here and pick, for example, garlic herb chicken. Go here and have a serving, any notes on it. Hit save, and there it is. Let's add another item. Loaded baked potato, 2 servings. You don't have to have a note if you don't want it. And a low-fat grilled chicken pasta, save. And just like that, I forgot to have a serving. 4 servings. So just like that, we've been able to create our meals model, create the meal, go in, add items. Now we have menu items, meal items, I should have called it. So where did I make that mistake? I know where it is. It's in the model, because I wasn't labeling it here. Here, I just labeled it. No, there it is. Right there. Meal items. Made the mistake right there. And so let's see what happens if I just take this out. I'm going to take out all that and just have tree. So we can see what it is before. This is what it looks like before. And remember how we were able to edit it before. So let's just take all that out and see what difference we have. You'll see that it says menu item now, servings, meal item notes. If I hit edit, I still got add items. So you can see that even without those extras in the tree view, we still got a pretty workable tree. I think, though, that menu item must be in our model after all. There it is right there. Meal item. So we want to say meal and keep it consistent. I've been fighting myself calling it between menu and meal. But now we got it meal item there, and that flows through now automatically to the tree view. So that's how the tree will get that from the model if we don't specify anything. So let's verify that just so we can see completely how that works. Restart it. This said menu item, but now once I've updated our model, it changes over to meal item. All right. Well, now the next question that could come up is, what if we wanted to see the calories from our other table? Now, what I mean by that is we know the servings here when we're looking at the meal, but we have no way to see the calories. If I look over here, you'll see that we don't have them. So one of the things we could try, might be worth just experimenting with, is that we know the item ID has the calories, right? So I go here and I say item ID dot calories. And how do I know that this item has calories? I can see it right here. If we go to the item, there's the calories. Here, I'm saying item ID dot calories. So let's save this. And we will go here and see if we get an error. We got an ending tag mismatch, so that's not what the problem is. Gotta get that right first. Okay, so let's try it one more time. And you'll notice what happens here is it says item ID dot calories does not exist. In other words, the problem is that this particular model right here doesn't know anything about calories. Okay? And so what that means is that there's not going to be a way with this current design for you to really easily see the calories in this list. But this is why we learn about related fields. So if we want to show calories here from this other table, this is how we can do this. We say calories equals fields, and we want to use the same field type as we use in our other table. So it's integer. Calories is an integer table. And right now we can say related and say that this is really related to instead our item ID dot calories. And at this point we can make a string and say calories per serving. And we also have the choice to store this, and which a lot of times we will want to do, because that's what's going to allow us to sort and do other calculations more easily on it. And also we want to make it read-only. In other words, we just want to pull this over from our other table. We don't want it to be changed here. We just want to pull it over from item ID dot calories. So the model's smart enough to hook these together now and make calories part of our meal item. We can jump over here now and just change this to calories. We'll restart. Notice we don't get any errors now, no problems. And if we go over now to meals, look at our breakfast meal. Notice we have calories per serving are all zeros. Okay, so one of the things we'll want to do here that you can see we haven't been doing is actually putting in some real data. So I'm just putting in fake data at this point. We're going to pull in some data in an import thing later. So let's go ahead and just put in some fake data for now. So now all our diet items have some calories in them. Let's go and look at our meals. Look at our breakfast meal. And notice how it's already pulled the calories over. Pretty slick, huh? We were able to take the data and by creating this related field, expose it inside of our meal items. So now that our meal items, we can see our calories per serving right there in the list, simply by showing calories here And by using our new understanding of related fields to say, grab the item ID that's right here from within our table, and now go and look inside the related model, which we know is the product template table up here, and we can call this calories per serving. And remember, we added our store equals true and our read only equals true, so that when we look at this and edit it, you'll notice that we can't edit this right here. Wait a second. Did we make our whole thing read only? You can see it's read only here. So this is where it's letting us edit it. We need to add that editable equals bottom back on our tree view. But you can see, notice how this is read only. We can't edit this, but we can edit this. We can edit this, but we can't edit calories per serving because that's inside of our garlic herb chicken. If we change it here and save, then it changes here. And if we refresh this screen, you'll see it change it here as well. Alrighty, so in our next lecture, we're going to go further and we're going to look at how to use functional fields so that we can actually total up our calories per serving and get a total for our entire meal.